Hey everybody, so this is where we start with a nice cleaned and sanded body ready to be painted. And this one happens to be resin, but it works the same way with plastic body. So I just wash it with soap and then 600 sandpaper. Yeah, you see some imperfections and stuff here, but that's okay. I want those because I'm gonna make this thing look old. So anyhow, we'll get some primer on here and we'll get started. Okay, so I'm just using a red oxide primer because I want this car to look rusty. So I start with a red primer. I'm spraying it from my airbrush. I've decanted it out of the can, but you can just use the can. Only reason I did it this way is because the tip was really clogged on the can. So I got it out of the can and we're gonna use the airbrush and we're just gonna get a few coats of red on here. It'll really help us in our quest to make our car look old. You can see it's kind of lumpy and bumpy. That's what we want. Put it on there kind of dry like that. Give it that really aged look. There we go. Red oxide primer, perfect for rust. Okay, we're ready to put some paint on it now. Now I've chosen a blue color, and again, we want to get a coat of paint on, pretty heavy around the edge, and not as heavy in the middle. And you'll see why later on. We're not looking for pretty here. And here's the final result of applying the paint. You'll notice that there's more paint around the edges than there is in the middle. This is all by design. It makes it a lot easier to sand on it later. So we'll move on to the next step and we'll start removing the paint. Okay, so now that we have the primer and the paint on our body, our next step is to start removing it. And I like to use these little sanding sponges. I think you can get them on Amazon, places like that. It's about 220 grit probably, and it works really well. But we'll get her off the stand here. We're going to start removing paint. Our end goal is to make the car look like this one. This is one that I did this week, and using this exact technique, this is how it comes out. So we'll start removing the paint, and you just want to start sanding. It's very simple. Just start sanding the paint and you'll see right away the primer will start to show through. And that's what we want. We want to get that red oxide to start showing through again because it looks very much like rust. So as you can see, it's beginning to come through right away. That's because we put it really heavy, the paint heavy around the edges, but left it light in the center. So we just keep sanding, lightly sanding, and removing paint until we get to the desired effect. I'll show you on the deck lid here. See how it's we have the same thing going on there. It's light in the middle. So we'll start sanding, and it right away starts removing the paint out of the middle. And that's the effect we're gonna get. Don't worry about going right down to the bare plastic again, because we're gonna go back with, we have other techniques to add in as we go, the next step. So you just go ahead and just keep sanding like this all over the body until you get that paint off down to the primer. And it gives it that very sun-baked, weathered look. I'll go ahead and continue this off camera and show you the result. All right, so we have gotten I've gotten it to where I like it. You know, sun-cooked, rusty, pockmarked old 32 Ford. And you can see a lot what I was talking about with the primer. See, now it really does look like a really pockmarked, rusty, pitted piece of metal. And that was the effect we're going for. So the next thing we're going to do now involves paint. And I just use these, you know, cheapy paints from Walmart or Michael's or wherever, you know, Hobby Lobby, wherever you get your craft paint, acrylics. And it doesn't take much. Just give us a little dab here. There we go. It's about just a little dab. And now, lots of water. We're just looking for a very watery paint mixture here. A little bit more even. Just nice and watery. About the consistency of milk, I suppose. And what we're going to do is we're going to go around the car everywhere where we burned through, and we're just going to, it could actually be more watery. We're not looking to deposit a lot of pigment here. We just want to make it like a wash. That's what we're looking for. Just so that it looks like a little bit of rust developing around this stuff. And just go around it everywhere you have this bare plastic, and we're going to make it look like rusty bare metal. And I know it doesn't look like a whole lot now, but it's going to. Trust me. Just trust the process. So here's some more here, this side. And just keep dabbing it on. And then once we have this all on here, we're just going to let it dry. If you want to, you can go back with just straight water, put it on here. It dilutes it a lot. The water on the model is not going to hurt anything. If you get a little too much, use your brush and just sort of mop it up. But this is where we want to go with it. Just a little rusty wash on all of those bare spots. And we'll just let this dry. So I'll let this dry, and then we'll come back and I will show you our next step. All right, and we're back. This is where we're at now with our rusty wash nice and dry, and we are going to now really step it up a little bit. Now, our end goal is this. This is our end goal, and this was accomplished the exact same way I'm doing this. So, the next step is, it's not really dry brushing, but we use these artist charcoals. I have them in all these different colors, kind of earth tony. You know, obviously kind of looks like rust. And then because we painted this car blue, I'm gonna use a little bit of blue as well to give that paint that kind of chalky, old faded look. So what you do is you piece of, this is 180 grit sandpaper, and you just rub your charcoal right on it, and then we just brush it right onto this piece of paper here so we don't make a huge mess. And this brush, it was just a coarse, large brush, and I cut the bristles off, and it's nice and stiff. This is what we really need. So what we're gonna do here is we'll get a little bit of the blue, and we're just gonna start rubbing it into the car. And you see right away the difference, what it does to the paint. I mean, it just instantly makes it look like a chalky old paint job that's been baking out in a field for 30 years. I mean, I hope you can see the difference here, there to there. It's a big difference. And then I usually get a couple, 2 or 3 of these colors. I like the rusty color. And it doesn't matter if they mix. Rust doesn't discriminate. That's a brown. So now we have this basic palette of colors here where we can go back and rub some rust in, You see how that changed it? It really enhances that rusty look. You just keep rubbing it in all over. And you can go back with other colors. Little brown. You're really rubbing it in here. But you see where we're headed here. It's really starting to look like this. It's really starting to look the same. And you see this car, I put a number on it. Obviously it's a race car. I could do it on this too. I just hand painted that number on there and sanded it back the same way we sand back the paint on the body itself. So yeah, you just keep working these pastels in, a little here, a little there, until you're comfortable with how it looks. So I'll continue to do this off camera, and we'll show you the result. Well, we have one more step, and that is to use the Tamiya panel line accent color. I'm using black. They have several different colors, grays, browns. They have quite a bit. But for this, I like to use the black. It just really makes things pop. But this is a solvent-based product, and it flows really well. It's made to accent the panel lines. Obviously, you just put a little in the cracks here, and watch it. Whoa! Don't too much, and watch it work its magic. It just fills up the cracks and really makes the panel lines pop. You can put it all over the place. Everywhere you touch it, it will just follow the cracks. And to me, it's kind of like the final step. So we'll just keep going. I just didn't want to do the whole thing on camera because it takes a while. I don't want this video to get too long. Just want to show you the technique. But yeah, I touch it in like where the cowl vent is, and it really picks up the lines. Rusty old hunk of junk, that's what we got here, right? You just keep going. So we'll just, we're almost done here, so we'll just let it do its thing. And we'll come back and show you what the final result is. And there you go. One rusty jalopy. I think it looks good. It definitely looks like a rusty old jalopy. It's not that hard to do. Simple tools, simple materials, and you know, again, 132 scale, 125th scale. I think the effect is good. You know, it's obviously it's a little bit probably easier to do the bigger scaled cars, but the little scale cars work too. I like the effect of the number on there. But there you go. So I hope that helps you guys. I hope some of you try it if you're interested in, you know, patina, as they call it. But that's it. That's how you do it. When you're all done, you clear it with a flat clear of your choice, whatever you like. Just spray flat clear on it so it'll keep it, because these are just, you know, like chalk, it'll come off. But protect it with flat clear and you're good to go. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope it was helpful. And thank you guys all for watching, and we'll see you all later.